There's heartbreak, there's Lagos, and there's a place called Maybe. This story is not for the weak. How do you ask your wife to wait for 1 year and then disappear for 4? Make that make sense. Please. Hi Rumi, I'm Aisha. I read, I write, I mind my business mostly. You're welcome to stay a while. These are stories that will run through in my head. This one's about a place called Maybe. This book made me blush, sigh, and ask God why some people don't have shame. Let's get into it. But before we do that, guys, I just received my Ashobi from my friend for her wedding, and I'm so excited. So yeah, we're going to open what's in the bag and see what she gave me. Well, I already opened it, but I'm just going to show you guys. So this is it. First, it comes with this crunchy lip gloss. This is nice. So on the scrunchie, it says, "I can't tell the knot without you." Isn't that so cute, guys? And yeah, this book. At the back, there are verses from the Quran, and this one, which is so cute. I love that everything is like so color coordinated, because even the Asheri has streaks of pink. Makes me wonder, what real color am I going to go with? Pink, purple, or white? Stay tuned. So, a place called Maybe. Where do we begin? So let me read the synopsis and then we can take a deep dive on it. Akin left Nigeria with a promise to return for his wife Shadi and their young son once he secured a better future in America. But the path to residency leads him into an unexpected relationship with Trina, and soon the lines between duty and desire begin to blur. Back home, Shadi holds on, but years of loneliness and sacrifice wear her down. As the past and present collide, Akin is caught between two worlds, two women, and two futures. Will he reclaim the life he left behind, or will the choices he made in pursuit of a dream alter his destiny forever? A Place Called Maybe is a tender, emotionally charged story that explores what happens when love is stretched across borders, time, and broken promises, and the cost of chasing dreams. So I'm just going to take it character by character. We're going to talk about Akin, obviously, because he's our main character, and Shadi, Trina, and we're going to talk about Bucci. I felt like he was an underrated character. We're going to talk about Charlie P. We're going to talk about just the general idea of japaing and what it means to live in two different countries, live in two different lives, the cultural shocks, what it means to actually live in those countries and survive. So let's start with Akin and how he even left. I personally felt like he just felt some kind of, should I say, he just felt he wasn't content anymore as soon as he met his friend at the bank and seeing his car, going to his house, and then all of a sudden all of these insecurities that he had suppressed suddenly start sprouting out. And then I felt like the last um the straw that broke the camel's back was him going to ask for help from Charlie P and not getting that help, which is valid. I feel like he's a grown man, he should be able to do whatever he wants to do, and they're not friends. Also, he's not obligated to whatever help he may think he could have gotten, he's not obligated to give it to Akin. Now, Akin decides that he's leaving, but what he doesn't think about is his family. So I feel like from the start he was already selfish. You weren't thinking about your wife, your kid, how they were going to live after you left. You're just thinking about yourself, how you could go there and just start a new life. You want a Benz, you want to have a mansion like your old classmates, but at what cost? And I'll tell you why soon. So he leaves here with his friend's help, Paul. We're going to talk about Paul. I don't forget to say his name. Paul is he's the definition of the devil on your shoulder, but somehow he's still the angel on his shoulder. Okay, no, that's Gucci, but we'll get to that. So he now leaves. He gets to America, and then he's suffering the first few weeks, or should I say months, before he finally lands this Uber job, and that's where he meets Trina. As somebody that is married, why is he even entertaining her in the first place? He's talking to her, and there are parts where I'm like, why is his heart fluttering? I mean, he's feeling butterflies in his belly or whatever. I'm just like, then it's now when he goes home that he starts to remember Shadi, and then he feels guilty. Like, make it make sense. Anyways, to me, but from the start, Trina had no fault. Like, she didn't know anything. But I also felt like she always suspected, because she was always asking, do you have family in Nigeria? Is there anything that you haven't told me? And what was so annoying was that he could have said it at the beginning, and they could have moved past it. Because I felt like, as much as she might have been irrational sometimes, she would have been very understanding if he said, okay, he had a family and he was trying to get separated from his wife or something. And you know what? I blame Shadi for how he treated her. I feel like let's forget Shadi and Trina's their cultural backgrounds for a second. Yeah, let's just look at them as two individuals. Now, if you notice something, Shadi is more, should I say, reserved. She's compliant. She's not trying to start up issues. And then we have Trina, and she's just like, to hell with everything. Like the time that they both came back from work, and then he was expecting to see food or something, and then she was like, the kitchen is over there, you can go and cook. Like, my favorite part of this story was where Trina was dealing with him, because he felt like how he treated Shadi was going to be how he treated Trina. And I loved that every second she didn't let him just walk all over her. Even the times that, like, he expected her to iron his shirts, but she ironed her own and went to work. I'm like, we both go to work. Can we just take care of our stuff and leave? But then again, they are in a partnership, so he should be also she should also be helping him around the house, not just him. So if he's cooking and cleaning, she should also be doing that as well. But their dynamic is one where they're used to him doing most of the domestic work, and it works for them. That's also fine. But you know what pisses me off? When he comes back home and Shadi is folding his things in his old room. I was like, are you being serious? Really? Are you being serious? He left you. Oh God, I'm just remembering Kunle. Kunle is like my second favorite character, just because of how he always treated Shadi from the start. I feel like he knew he could treat her like a doormat, but he chose not to. He was very kind. He helped her with her son, so many things. And his character is just the all-round sweet boy. There isn't, I wouldn't say there's much substance to his character, but I did love everything about him and his relationship with Shadim. And I felt like it should have been a no-brainer for her when Akin came back, but I guess like the feelings, she was confused. She didn't know where to begin since it was different talking on the phone. Now you're back, we're seeing each other face to face, and it's like, where do we even stand? This story is crazy. Akin's selfishness, his discontentment, his need to make that fast money is what led him here. So because of the green card and okay, and the benefits that come with it, you decide to betray your family. Why? And Paul Paul encouraged him from the start. Paul is crazy. I thought he was just being helpful. You even told him he should work towards bringing his family here, and then now you're encouraging him to be with Trina just because she's going to give him the life he wants. If he was single, if he was single, that would have been better. But he's not. He has a wife and a child, and you're telling him to do that. I mean, if Paul had the opportunity, he would do it too. But he's single. They're two different. They're in two different situations. Some people will say so much for women supporting women, but I just feel like Shadi did all that to herself. Maybe if she stood up for herself, like there wouldn't be so much expectations for her. Look at Trina. Trina gets away with so many things that Shadi can't. But then whatever works for both spectrums of the relationship just works for them, I guess. So well, until it didn't with Trina, and I'm so happy that now it's like a regulated balance. He knows not to overwork her, and he's taking care of her in the process. So there are days he cooks for her, he tries to clean, he tries to do the laundry. You see, that is all. Well, I would have said that was all Shadi needed, but she also needed his presence and he disappointed her. So, good riddance. So, let's talk about the working aspect. It's giving that dirty December period where people are coming back from abroad and they're like using all their savings to buy the fanciest suits, the nicest clothes, the nicest shoes, just to come and impress people and then go back. So basically, you spent years toiling, some carrying boxes like Akin, some taking undertaker jobs to clean dead bodies and whatnot, and then you come back home looking fresh and clean. Everybody thinks that you're making that money, but then you're actually struggling there. So I feel like it's a 1 in 100 chance of people actually making it out there. You actually have the potential to make it in your country, but a lot of people have this mindset that going to said countries is where there's a, should I say, where the grass is greener on that side, but in some cases the grass can be greener in this side as well. So I just think it's luck, your destiny, what God has set out to happen for you. So prayer is very important, and just being hardworking basically, because Akin actually tried. He had the drive, he had the motivation. What was left was a standard job, which marrying Trina helped him get because he couldn't have done that on his box job. I also thought that it was crazy that when the two men were vying for Shadi's attention, one bought her a mansion and the other one bought her a pharmacy, no, a supermarket, which is crazy. Like they they actually wanted to prove their love. But the thing is that I was a bit disappointed that property could sway her even for a second. Like, I understand it's a lot of money, it's a huge gift to give to somebody just because you want to express your love for them, but you get what I mean. But yeah, like, I understand again, like, old feelings, all of that. She's also thinking he's the father of her child and whatnot, but that's bullshit. When he met Trina, he wasn't really thinking of her like that. He started going weeks without texting or calling, and then I hated that there was a point where in his mind he was like he still loves Trina, but I'm sorry, he still loves Shadi, but he also loves Trina, which is so irritating because first off, it's the African man in him that is in love with making her slave for him, coming home to food. Okay, I guess she didn't have a job, so her doing nothing at home all day. The cooking is fine, I guess, but if she was working, it would have been a different case. But I was happy in the end that there wasn't a big fallout before they actually accepted that they were separating for good. I wish Uchi was his friend in Nigeria before he even got to the United States, so he would keep him grounded. Because I felt like with Paul, and it's not even a bad thing to be ambitious, but I feel like they were trying to get to where God had not put them so quickly that they were willing to do anything, and it cost Akin his family and probably his child forever. Because at this point his son loves Kunle and treats him like his dad, and I understand his anger with that, but he caused it for himself. So in in a lot of ways I don't pity Akin. He really doesn't deserve our pity. You know what's sad about the work culture here and in places like the US? I feel like Nigerians are more accommodating because if you remember, if you read the book, there are parts that when he was working, his back literally gave up on him and he asked for a break and he got a leave without pay. Do you know how frustrating that can be in a new country and you're alone? You have nobody to depend on. You're being depended on. So that was crazy. But I also felt like it was just part of the journey for him. So it's all good. Now we're circling back to Trina and Akin and why I felt the story is poison to the traditional African man, because when you think about it, that is all a woman will ever be seen as: somebody that should be in the kitchen, somebody that has to forego her dreams, somebody who has to keep, you know, when they say you're working to help somebody's dreams come true, that's how I feel in these situations. Like when I read about it, when I see it, that's what comes to mind first. And I feel like that was what it was for Shadi, because imagine she had to wait for Akin to give her money to open a new shop. When he was around, she had to stay at home all day doing nothing. I mean, some people like the housewife lifestyle, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's the fact that he had to leave for her to start struggling. Like, she couldn't afford basic things for herself without him, and I felt like that was very sad. And I feel like no matter what, you should be able to empower yourself if you find yourself in a situation that you can't afford certain things for yourself. And that's all for now, guys. If you made it till the end, you're officially a part of the draft room. I'll see you in the next one. And if you're writing something too, don't stop. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Get to let your friends in on that secret that I just posted something about love Lagos and people with audacity. With love always, I should say.